was a great time. We are going to be closing our third anniversary of WIP. So let's go back to all our Wonder Women and find out what they've been up to. Hi, Pamposh. Welcome back.
Hi, good to be back. During COVID, I really focused on Reiki healing and teaching people to do Reiki. And I really drastically lowered my rates, especially for those in India, because COVID was so difficult in India. It was so bad. And I'm very happy that so many people from the WiP community actually learned Reiki at that time. It's a great satisfaction to me. Post-COVID, there have been many changes. One of the things I'm quite excited about that I'm doing now is I'm hosting and leading short retreats here in Singapore now. Before COVID, I was co-hosting, co-leading a retreat in Bali. I did one in February, and I'm planning to do 2 more this year. And I include the different types of meditation, of course, and pranayama, but also I introduce a short wisdom talk, gives the retreat a flavor of a satsang. Satsang, as you know, means the company of truth. I did a talk on Toltec wisdom, which comes from Central America. And for the next retreat, I'll probably do a teaching from the Bhagavad Gita. And for the third retreat this year, I'm going to pick up a principle from Sikhism. So I believe very much in the power of a Sangha for peace or for something good, just a company of like-minded people who are on a similar path. So that's what I try to encourage through these online communities so that people can join from anywhere. And of course, we meditate and practice, and we have people leading different practices, also doing talk. I am planning to do a full teaching from the Gita this year, which takes time, so it's a bit of a commitment for everybody. And of course, I will carry on with Reiki, meditation, counseling, coaching, and all that. One other thing I've started, but I think it will take me time, is I'm finally writing a book that I have wanted to write for many, many years. I'm hoping I'll complete it next year, not this year. It's going to be about loss and grief and moving on from that. And through that, my own experience of understanding life and understanding death as well.
Welcome back, Poonam.
Thank you, Mandeep. I feel like I've lived many lifetimes in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Lots of art, lots of dance, but most importantly, Mandeep, I've really been working on keeping my inner peace intact. And how I'm doing that is, I think I'm being careful of keeping my mental, physical, and spiritual health in place. For example, mental health, I'm constantly painting. I'm getting into a practice of my mood is not right. I push myself to go to the studio to change my mind, to go to the studio to work no matter what comes out, change the course. Physically dance, to shake off all the energies that's just piling up, because every day there's something or the other, life goes on. Spiritually, I've been very, very disciplined with my meditation and my yoga. And I think I turned 40 last year, and it's a magical number. I've never been so comfortable in my skin. And I'm sure 50 is going to be even better. Like once I turn inward, my dancing is getting better, my art is getting better. I'm creating art for myself, Mandeep, not for other people, not to please others. This can be debatable, Mandeep, but I feel all of us are artists. Humne just practice nahi kiya hai na.
So what next? What's next?
Last year, I was itching to get all these opportunities. This year, I really just truly surrendered, and a lot of things are coming up. So I have an exhibition at a hotel probably coming up soon. I'm going to tell you all about it. But more importantly, my creativity portal has opened up. So I'm looking forward to creating a lot of art this year. And a lot of people are reaching out, for dance, Mandeep. I have an event coming up in March to perform a big event. And I'm talking at Paris Talks, which is a TED Talk kind of a scene.
Hi, Roopa. Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Professionally, I changed roles. So I moved in as VP of Learning and Development with Faye Group. So it's been a good 1 year. I started in March last year. Been a great learning experience. And I'm getting to do a lot of the leadership development, managerial skills, graduate trainee programs and things like that, and some bit of DEI too. So I think it's been a good learning experience. One great thing has been I've worked a lot on myself. And I think I'm extremely confident and comfortable with who I am and what I bring to the table.
That's lovely.
I keep this quote in my head every time that don't look for a table, build a table if you need to. And more importantly, I think I've not learned, I think I have more clarity in the way I tend to prioritize myself and what I need with what others need and kind of balance it so that, it's a win-win for all of us at different points in time.
Welcome back, Archana.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me again. So what I'm doing here is, I think I mentioned last year that I'm with the Vehicle Sales Authority of British Columbia. So I'm their executive vice president now. So I take care of a lot of different portfolios. I take care of HR, technology, marketing and communication, strategy and risk, learning and management, and process improvement. So it's quite a big portfolio. But what is really been fruitful for me is the transformation that VSA has gone through with my leadership. The second big thing that happened was that I was one of the finalists for the Women in Distinction Award for Vancouver. That was quite nice that people appreciated you. And the third piece would be that, I have a deep desire always to give back. So I've joined the Abbotsford Police Foundation Board. So this board supports the police department to ensure that the relationship between the police department, the community is strong. So something new, but very excited for that. So the Jewelry Sukanyas is doing well. One of our biggest goal from that is to create a give back for women education. So we want to partner up with an NGO in India to start using the funds for women education to support that. So for me, that's the end product, to have women at the table or at any executive table. I've actually opened up a consulting company too here with 2 other partners. It's called the A6 Strategy Group. And we've already started consulting with, just this year, 3 or 4 companies. So that's going to be a really good experience as well. So
welcome back, Nandini.
Thank you, Mandeep. It's always good to be back on WiP platform. I think when we spoke last, yes, I think we've predominantly spoken a lot about storytelling, and you're right, I do practice mindfulness and teach it as well, and positive psychology as well. In the addition to that is my role as a counselor. So I've finished, I think when we spoke last, I was in the midst of
your master's program.
And that's finally done.
Congratulations, that's lovely.
I finished in 2022. I've joined 2 platforms. Along with that, I'm doing it under my own brand as well. My mindfulness work also carries on. A lot of one-on-one work, a lot of work with parents. I think the underlying message or the underlying attention goes to the positive psychology aspect of it. Even in my stories, I do volunteer in a youth mental health organization. It's a non-profit that offers a variety of integrated services, and they have counseling as one of them. So yes, there are minors. And again, I see the amount of work that has to be done with the parent, even though the client is the child. But I think at the end of the day, it is the family, and it makes a very big difference. So I think everyone should practice mindfulness because it helps each one of us to come into our own. In order for us to respond to what life brings us, we have to first go within and attend to ourselves. A lot of my stories have been, I think, unintentionally or intentionally, when I not realized it, have been a lot where the woman is the protagonist. Somewhere I seem to be working around women or focusing on women, even when I'm speaking to parents. And the mindfulness I did with Breast Cancer Awareness Week is again focused on women.
Hey, welcome back, Charlotte.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be back. It's been a lovely, fulfilling and a wholesome journey. So many firsts actually with WiP. I have to say, it was one of my first interviews when we started talking about blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. But from then on, in the span of 2 years, blah, blah, blah has now done over 110 workshops, covering about more than 350 children from 13 countries and still counting. Our first collaboration was also with WiP, with Pamposh, with Terataii in Singapore. And since then, we've done over 20 odd collaborations internationally, and we are exploring and adding more. You've seen us at our nascent baby steps. We do workshops for children aged 7 to 17. In our field, we've been grateful because we've won about 3 awards and nominated for Indian Women Achievers in the UAE this year as well. Looking forward to that one. I feel very humbled to have worked with lots of people of determination, with organizations here like Mawahib and G3 Galaxy. More humbled because I've just been elected as a board member of Dubai Bodhi Lions Club, which is the first Lions Club for people of determination in the UAE. We've had a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups probably, but we've been resilient and we haven't given up. Sarah and myself, there are so many things we didn't know, maybe our teams knew or other people knew, and we realized that asking for help has only helped us grow and has been a sign of our strength. At the same time, Blah 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 has been building a community to create a non-judgmental space for so many children across the world. We've had somebody who has gone on to do TEDx talks and a lot of other accolades, and hence Blah 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 has become the reason we wake up every morning, a part of our Ikigai.
What do you love about what's happening to women these days? Is there anything particular that you don't like about?
Even today, so many women, even relatively young women, don't take charge of their own finances. And I've seen this blow up in people's faces. I mean, not all cases, but in a few cases. I want to say to everybody out there, I hope they listen to me and believe me, that you don't have to express your love through dependence, through financial dependence. Take charge of your finances. Take charge of joint finances also. If you're sharing a life with someone, then do things jointly. Or if you're working, manage your own finances. You can still love the other person and they can still love you.
Sure.
What I love is that so many women today are following their heart, some even in midlife, and choosing to answer a calling, what they really want to do, rather than just do a job. I just love that.
I think when you think about women in the workforce, right, I don't think we really acknowledge the kind of mental load they carry day in and day out. And it's not related just to the work front. I had to think about, for example, you have to think about your family, you have to think about your parents, you have to think about finances, you're trying to manage all of that. And also you're constantly planning. Like even if I'm in a meeting, by 12, I know the kids will be there for lunch and I need to think about lunch. Let it be classes too. And I think there are a lot of men in the workforce who are amazing mentors, who are amazing support, and they understand where we are coming from. But a lot of times you cannot also ask them to constantly empathize because you have to show up.
I love the fact that women are understanding the need of self-care. They're putting themselves first. They're trying to explore their passions and start getting better in it and choosing areas where they're where they can be blossomed. So I'm loving the fact that the spotlight women are putting on themselves. What I'm not that pleased is where I'm seeing women are not that competitive at the executive level anymore. You're seeing less and less women at the executive table. Like even in our tech group, we're just two women and we've got 14 men. And then the second, what I don't like is that women are not supporting women. And that is why this group is so beautiful and so different, which seems to be like that should be common sense. And like you would think that's the most natural thing to do. And instead of uplifting women around, they feel some kind of satisfaction by putting them down. So
it's a very good time to be a woman. But at the same time, I will also say it's very complex because things are not as simplistic. We have a lot more going on in the world, and I think a lot of us are very connected to the broader picture than we were before. It also matters how we were conditioned growing up. I think today, women in Gen Z are conditioned. They've grown up differently. They've also grown up with a very different set of problems and issues, which we didn't have.
And that's a wrap. And that's a wrap. And that's a wrap.